This video is sort of about the Ticket and Transportation Center, but it's also about everything that's connected to the TTC. And it's a good excuse to use my Ferryboat and Monorail video. I'm sure Walt and his Imagineers were thinking of the Ticket and Transportation Center as guest parking central, with monorail and boat services to all other parts of Disney World, including his city of Epcot. After his death, and don't smoke, kids, all things in the company that Walt was involved with came to a standstill. Unfortunately, that was most of the company at the time. Finally, the decision to build Magic Kingdom went forward, since much of the park was already planned and surveyed, but the city of Epcot was boxed up and put on a shelf. The plan was to have most of the commercial tourist spaces to be around the Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake. The Ticket Transportation Center is to the right, the Polynesian, the planned Thai Resort, Magic Kingdom, the Persian Resort, the Contemporary Resort, and the Venetian Resort. But reality hit October 1st, 1971, and what was left was the Contemporary and Polynesian Resorts, Magic Kingdom, and the Ticket and Transportation Center, all connected by a dual-loop monorail. After Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World was firmly established, Epcot happened. Not the city, but the theme park, which had its own parking, ticket booths, and resorts. Disney would build monorail service to Epcot, and eventually provided bus service to Disney Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, but all bus transportation services to Disney World's ever-growing resorts was right by the park entrance. All the other parks and attractions, down to the miniature golf courses, had their own parking, ticket booths, and transportation hubs. The Ticket and Transportation Center's relevance as a transportation hub disappeared. It still serves its purpose as parking for Magic Kingdom.
And for entertainment at 3 this afternoon, we'll have our Magical Moments Parade. Tonight at 7:30 is the Main Street Electrical Parade, and at 8:30, Fantasy in the Sky fireworks.
As well as the transfer point between the Epcot and Magic Kingdom monorails, but otherwise it seems to be a relic of the past.
I guess you don't. See? You're like Dan.
Bay Lake is a natural lake, but it was part of the swamp so long that there was a thick layer of muck on the bottom. When Disney drained the lake and removed the muck, they found that Florida white sand under it, some of which was eventually used in places like Caribbean Beach Resort. But muck is another story, and it plays a big part in Epcot's story. Bay Lake hosts two of the more impressive resorts on property, the Contemporary Resort and Disney's Wilderness Lodge. It also has boat service to Fort Wilderness and its campgrounds. I'll talk more about the Contemporary when I get to the monorails, but both the Contemporary and Wilderness Lodge will be featured in its own video. Suffice it to say, I think Wilderness Lodge ties with Animal Kingdom Lodge for the most impressive hotels at Disney World. The connected Seven Seas Lagoon, on the other hand, is completely man-made. Here's a picture of Magic Kingdom as was being built, with an empty Seven Seas Lagoon in front of it. There is ferryboat service from the Ticket and Transportation Center to Magic Kingdom across the lagoon. They're free-floating boats, each of which can carry a massive number of people. If it were a vehicle ferry, it would be known as a row-row, or a roll-on, roll-off ferry, which means the ferry can dock at the front or rear of the boat, so it doesn't have to turn around in the middle of the lake. It's also the way to go if you want to get the best pictures of Magic Kingdom and the monorail resorts from a distance. And it's the best alternative to the monorail at closing.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
the most magical way to travel at Walt Disney World is, of course, the monorail. There are 3 main monorail loops in Disney World. 2 circle the Seven Seas Lagoon. The outer loop serves the express monorail, which has 2 stops, the Ticket Transportation Center and Magic Kingdom. The resort loop not only stops at the TTC in the Magic Kingdom, but also the Monorail Resorts, the Contemporary, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian.
Picturesque Victorian-themed resort provides a taste of turn-of-the-century Florida.
The Polynesian Resort is one of the original monorail resorts, but I've only had lunch there. There's a film out there from U.S. Steel about the construction of the Polynesian and the Contemporary. Yes, they were modularly constructed, but the modules were a permanent part of the structure. In addition, U.S. Steel owned both hotels and leased them back to Disney. Disney hated the arrangement, bought the hotels, and never entered an agreement like that again. The newest monorail resort was the Grand Floridian, which replaced the Thailand resort. It, along with the sister resort, the Grand Californian at Disneyland, is the super expensive, highest-end premium luxury hotel on property. I've been there a couple of times, but only for dinner. Citrico's might be the best restaurant at Disney World, and they have a Christmas gingerbread house that's worth a visit if you're ever there during the holiday season. However, the most interesting monorail resort is probably the Contemporary, perhaps the best example of Walt's integration of services at Disney World, where the monorail has a station on the 4th floor of the hotel. Here's a picture taken during construction. The monorail and Contemporary had to be built at the same time to ensure that the 2 separate structures lined up correctly. I've stayed there twice, once in 1977 when someone else was picking up the check, so I have no idea what it cost back then. But it was magic to open up your hotel door and see a monorail across the atrium from you. I stayed there again in 2011 because I was attending Walt Disney World's 40th anniversary in the Fantasia Ballroom, which is the building attached to the Contemporary. Learning to pay for premium view rooms in national parks, I paid for a park view room. And if you ever decide the expense is worth it and you stay at a monorail resort, get a park view room. Now, the Contemporary wasn't supposed to be named the Contemporary. It was a temporary name used because it didn't represent a country like Thailand or a city like Venice. When Imagineering started coming up with names and themes for the hotel, Roy Disney listened patiently for them to finish, and then asked, "What's wrong with the Contemporary?" And even 50 years later, the hotel lives up to its name. At the 40th anniversary event, we were shown a film that was recorded on the opening day of the resort, and it's because of Bob Hope that I will forever think of the Goodyear blimp and the Contemporary Hotel having sex. Thanks, Bob. Rest in peace. Walt Disney World's second big event officially happened on October 1st, 1982. Epcot Center opened, complete with monorail service to the Ticket and Transportation Center. It would be Disney's first real use of the monorail as transportation. The added bonus is the monorail previews the park before it stops at the station, and the monorail traveling around Future World is, well, magical. Here's a picture of the trains as they were being put together in the 1970s, and the maintenance facility being built. In 2011, off of Timberline Drive, They were building a spur that was supposed to eventually hold a tow vehicle on the Epcot line. And in the end, the monorail is just too expensive to build and maintain. I used to hear it cost $1 billion per mile, but that includes beam construction and muck mitigation, the trains, maintenance facilities, power generation, staffing, and other costs. Buses are much cheaper and uses the same roads Disney has to have anyway.
This is the Transportation and Ticket Center.
And to end this video, we'll take a loop around Future World. Full-length monorail trips are in another video.
Coming up behind Spaceship Earth is Intervention. Inside this hands-on area, you can explore and interact with the ever-changing technologies and products for everyday living in the near future. To the opposite side is the Universe of Energy. Inside you'll find Ellen's Energy Adventure, hosted by Ellen DeGeneres and Bill Nye the Science Guy. Next is the Wonders of Life, where you'll discover Body Wars, which takes you on an amazing trip through the human body. In Test Track, you can experience the exhilaration of test driving a vehicle on the fastest and longest ride ever created for Walt Disney World. Coming into view is World Showcase. Directly across from us on the far shore of the World Showcase Lagoon is our host pavilion, the American Adventure. The glass pyramids are the gateway to your journey into imagination. Inside you can find the 3D adventure Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Join Professor Wayne Selinsky as he receives the Inventor of the Year award for his incredible shrinking machine. Next is the land, where you'll discover creative partnerships between people and the land around the world. In the living seas, you can descend via hydrolator to Seabase Alpha and navigate the largest, most spectacular coral reef environment ever created by humankind. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the Epcot Monorail Station. Smoking is not permitted at Epcot except in designated areas. Please consult your guide map or ask a cast member for the location of designated smoking areas. Please hold on to the handrails and stay clear of the doors until the monorail stops completely and the doors open. On behalf of the cast of the Walt Disney World Resort, we'd like to welcome you to Epcot.
And thanks for watching if you've gotten this far. Like and subscribe. I mean, it's not begging, is it? Please, subscribe. Press like.